Let's head to Columbia, Missouri. Tennessee at Missouri. Next year, this is a college football playoff matchup. The winner has a chance to get into the college football playoff. The loser is done. Tennessee still has an outside chance at challenging Georgia in the East. They get Georgia next weekend. This is one of the most fascinating football games of the entire season. Tennessee has traditionally dominated Missouri in the SEC since joining this conference. Certainly, Josh Heupel has dominated Eli Drinkwitz in recent years. But this is a different Missouri football team. This is a very complete Missouri football team. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. They just showed us exactly how composed they are, the way they played in Athens against Georgia. Tennessee has had some moments on the road where they did not play composed this season, but I also think Tennessee is playing its best football of the year right now. The point spread, I thought was interesting that Tennessee was like a point favorite on the road. Let me ask you one thing about this matchup. If they both played their best possible game, who's the better team?
Missouri.
Really? All right. Explain.
We'll start with the video with the prediction. I like Missouri to win this game. I think for a couple of reasons. I think it hinges, first of all, they have to have Luther Burden. He's banged up. He's questionable. He may not play. If he doesn't play, I think I would probably pick Tennessee here. I think it's critical for Missouri to not let Georgia beat you twice, and not, the disappointment of, even though they were sort of playing with house money going to Georgia, they came so close that you still can't let it beat you twice, because there's still a lot to play for, a chance for second place in the East and 10 wins here. I think both teams, defensively, I love the defensive fronts for both teams. Tennessee's been much better there. Missouri's active. I think Missouri's better in the secondary. And I think if you have to get a stop or two, I think I trust Missouri's defense. And then the quarterbacks. Joe Milton has played very well the last couple games. He's only missed on 6 passes the last 2 weeks. 2 of his highest quarterback ratings of the season came in that span. So he has settled in. The receivers for Tennessee have settled in. But I think if assuming Luther Burden plays, I like Brady Cook at home, and I like Missouri's offense, especially against Tennessee's secondary, to make more plays in this game. So I'm picking Missouri straight up.
All right, let me ask you this then, because I disagree on if they play their best game. If they play their best football game, I think Tennessee's slightly better. The problem is that I think if they play their regular football game, which is different, right? I think Missouri's better. I think Missouri's the better football team, and they're at home. But, I mean, they should be able to attack Tennessee's secondary. There's no question. But I don't think Missouri is going to stop Tennessee's rushing attack. And the way Josh Heupel's been using Joe Milton, running the football, being more creative, asking him to throw less and sort of run more. They're leaning on that 3-headed monster. The play calling has been outstanding the last few weeks, UConn notwithstanding, whatever. But does it make sense to say, like, Tennessee has like a tiny bit more upside? If they play a perfect game, they're probably a little bit better. But if they both kind of achieve exactly where they are used to, their normal, regular football game, that Missouri is the more consistent and complete. And I trust Missouri a little bit more to reach that standard. But it doesn't mean Tennessee might not play its best game of the season this weekend, because they are putting it together at the right time. If you're a Tennessee fan, second half of the Alabama game notwithstanding, which to me, again, I thought the Tennessee lost to Alabama and the Georgia lost and the Missouri lost to Georgia were very similar. 2 good, solid game plans. Quarterback played well coming out of the gate. 2 teams with more talent just outlasted them in the second half.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You won't catch any disagreement from me on that one. I think you're right. I mean, Tennessee has been, trending up, maybe a little bit more upside on the roster. And also, I think there's certainly some motivation here for Tennessee. Win this one, set up that showdown next week against Georgia. You need some help because of the losses to Florida and Alabama in the East, but you win this one and maybe you can get Georgia to stumble to Ole Miss. There's still something to play for. But I think that, to me, it's almost like these 2 teams will go as the quarterbacks go. Milton can be so scattershot at times. The big plays really haven't been there. They were against UConn. That's a lot of that to do with UConn. I think Brady Cook, if he can play consistent, steady with plays on the ground and Luther Burden playing, I think that the edge in this game might just be Cook Burden against Tennessee secondary.
And that's a huge edge for Missouri. There's no question. Interesting strategy, of course, from UConn and Jim Mora to not cover football players in the secondary. It was an interesting strategy. Didn't work out for him. Maybe he'll change moving forward. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. I think if Joe Milton plays his best game, there's a little bit more upside. I just trust Brady Cook to hit his sort of, not his ceiling, but like his consistent high level performance a little bit more. I do think Missouri is the better football team. For some reason, I don't think they're going to stop Tennessee's rushing attack. For some reason, this is a weird bounce off some guy's face mask on the last possession of the game, and maybe Missouri makes a 61-yard field goal to win. Or maybe Brady Cook throws a pick six at the end of the game, and Missouri loses. Like, I just have no idea what to expect. I think it is one of the best games of the weekend. I'm not even sure if I can make a prediction.
Tennessee has scored 60+ points in back-to-back games against Missouri. They won 4 in a row in the series. And I thought going back to last year's game, at the end of the game, there was a little bit of bad blood between Eli Drinkowitz and Josh Heupel. And here's Missouri getting Tennessee at home with maybe the Eli's best team in Columbia. So if I'm Missouri, there's a little bit of revenge factor here.
No, I agree. It goes both ways. Like, Tennessee owns you, so that's an advantage for Tennessee because they have just owned you. But at the same time, when's enough? If you're Missouri players and you're the coaching staff and you're like, enough's enough. We're going to end this nonsense, this storyline, this stat. Right now, it's our best team. We're at home. It's basically a pick 'em. Like I said, if Tennessee plays its best game, they're better and they win. If they play both of their regular games, Missouri's the better football team and Missouri wins. That's the best answer you're going to get out of me this week.
I'm picking Missouri. I'm being definitive. I'm taking Missouri at home to win.
I like it.